Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I am Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
No pedestrians injured after video shows cruiser mount downtown sidewalk knock over light standard. Emergency responders called to Clarkson GO station following reports of fumes. Nearly 63,000 pieces of plastic collected from Toronto Harbour within 6 months last year. 16-year-old facing charges after home invasion in Toronto. Ford doubles down on like-minded judges' remark, civil liberties group deeply concerned. Officers dragged for 50 meters while trying to arrest auto theft suspect in Milton. Canadian business narrowly defrauded out of $600,000 following OPP US Secret Service probe.
These were the headlines. Now let's jump right into the details.
Nearly 63,000 pieces of small plastic were removed from Toronto Harbour in a 6-month period last year. The University of Toronto trash team said that about 43 kilograms of litter were collected from its network of traps between May and October 2023. Tiny debris, including microplastics, items smaller than 5 millimeters, remain by far the most common items by count collected by Stevens, they said in a news release. In total, about 62,996 pieces of small plastic were pulled from the harbour. The team said that it appears as though there was a slight decrease in the amount of microplastics collected, in part due to additional outreach and educational efforts towards waste reduction. Floating debris and plastic pollution in the water is not a problem unique to Toronto. We know that this is an issue prevalent in urban waterways around the world. R.J. Steenstra, President and CEO of Ports Toronto, said in a statement. What is unique about Toronto is that we have a coalition of like-minded organizations that have come together to find innovative solutions that leverage new technology and local research and trades to help make a difference. The trash team, made of students, researchers, volunteers, and staff, has been collecting trash in Lake Ontario since 2019 using technology known as sea bins and waste sharks. A sea bin is a floating garbage can that collects waste by gently pumping water through a mesh bag, creating a vacuum that sucks items inside, while a waste shark moves slowly along the surface of the water. Since 2019, they have collected hundreds of kilograms of litter, including hundreds of thousands of small plastic pieces. In 2022, the trash team collected 96,208 pieces of waste, equaling just over 118 kilograms. A 16-year-old is facing charges after allegedly breaking into a home in Toronto's Forest Hill neighborhood early this month. Just before 4:15 on February 10th, police said they were called to the area of Forest Hill and Gilbury Roads, located near Upper Canada College. 4 suspects allegedly got inside of a home by throwing a rock through the glass on the door. Police said one suspect was armed with a firearm. They allegedly fled the residence after grabbing several sets of keys and unsuccessfully attempting to take a vehicle from the driveway before fleeing the area. Officers said the victim and family were at home at the time of the incident and suffered no injuries. On February 15, Halton Regional Police arrested several individuals involved in an unrelated incident, and upon further investigation, one of the arrested parties was identified as suspect of the Forest Hill home invasion. On February 22nd, the Provincial Carjacking Task Force arrested a 16-year-old who was facing charges for robbery while armed with a firearm and break-and-enter comment. His identity is protected under the provisions of the Youth Criminal Justice Act. The charges have not been tested in court. The Canadian Civil Liberties Association says it is deeply concerned after Ontario Premier Doug Ford appointed 2 former staffers to the provincial committee responsible for selecting judges, stating he wanted like-minded people in the role. Ford, speaking to reporters in Brampton last week, defended his appointments of the staffers, adding that he wouldn't appoint a Liberal or New Democrat into those roles. It was first reported last week by Toronto Star that Matthew Bondi, a former Deputy Chief of Staff to Ford, had been appointed chair of the Judicial Appointments Advisory Committee, and Brock Van Drake, Ford's former director of stakeholder relations, had also been given a spot. The committee, made up of 3 judges, 3 lawyers, and 7 members of the public, reviews applications and conducts interviews for prospective Ontario court judges, then sends a ranked list of its recommendations to the Attorney General, who appoints someone from that list. Speaking at question period on Monday, Ford doubled down on the comments, pointing to a purported increase in crime in the Toronto area, an assertion the CCLA has disputed. Also at question period, Attorney General Doug Downey said he takes the responsibility of making judicial recommendations to the cabinet seriously. Speaking to reporters on Monday afternoon, Kristen Wong-Tam, the NDP Attorney General predicts, said that the appointments raise serious concerns about the impartiality of the judicial system. Instead of fixing the mess in our courts, the Attorney General is focused on avoiding partisan patronage appointments. Under this government, we have seen our court system pushed to collapse, Wong-Tam wrote. Halton Regional Police say an officer was dragged for 50 meters while trying to apprehend a suspect during the attempted theft of a pickup truck in Milton last week. At around 3:15 a.m. on February 21st, police were called to an address in the area of Woodward Avenue and Thompson Road North for a report of suspects attempting to steal a 2024 Toyota Tundra pickup truck. Upon arrival, police said officers discovered several suspects fleeing the scene on foot. While attempting to arrest the driver in the suspect vehicle, police said one officer was dragged for about 50 meters before falling to the ground. The officer sustained minor injuries. The driver of the suspect vehicle escaped. However, after continued investigation, a suspect who fled on foot was located and arrested in the backyard of a neighboring residence, police said in a news release issued Monday. The suspect, who was apprehended by police, is a 23-year-old man from Quebec, investigators said. Police noted that further suspects remain outstanding, but no further details were released. Police are investigating after Toronto police cruiser mounted a sidewalk at a busy downtown intersection and knocked down a light standard which narrowly missed pedestrians walking in the area. The collision occurred at around 8 a.m. on Saturday at the intersection of Fort York Boulevard and Dan Lucky Way near Bathurst Street. A video of the incident, which was provided to Awaz News by lawyer and cycling advocate David Chalnut, shows an officer in a police cruiser attempting to make a right-hand turn. While making the turn, the driver of the cruiser loses control, mounts a sidewalk, and hits a light standard. Within seconds, the light standard can be seen toppling to the sidewalk just feet from where a number of pedestrians are standing. Police confirmed that at the time of the collision, no emergency equipment was activated on the cruiser. It is not clear what caused the officer to lose control of the vehicle. While no member of the public was injured, a female officer who was in the passenger seat of the vehicle sustained minor injuries, Toronto police said in an email to Awaz News. Police say no charges have been laid against the officer at this time. The incident comes after dashcam video surfaced last week that showed a cruiser coming very close to striking a pedestrian while she was trying to cross the street near Dufferin and Liberty Streets. The pedestrian had the right of way at the time of the incident, which was investigated by Toronto Police. Ontario Provincial Police, working in conjunction with the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre and United States Secret Service, says law enforcement officials prevented a Canadian business from being defrauded out of more than $600,000 in connection with the spear phishing scam. In a news release, the OPP said a member working with the CAFC was notified about a Canadian business that was the victim of a spear phishing fraud on February 2nd, 2024. The officer, police said, got in touch with Secret Service, which immediately contacted the U.S. financial institution involved. The transfer, which amounted to $615,820 in Canadian currency, was frozen before the money changed hands, police confirmed. Details of the fraud were not released, but in spear phishing scams, police said fraudsters typically send messages to a targeted business or individual's email account. The emails, police said, are often addressed to the accounts payable department. According to the OPP, spear phishing scams represented about $60 million in reported losses to the CAFC last year. Ontario victims, the OPP noted, reported losing over $21.3 million in 2023. To prevent these types of frauds from occurring, officials advise employees to confirm that the email address they are responding to is legitimate. Businesses are also urged to restrict the amount of information publicly shared online, including on social media. Several emergency responders attended Clarkson GO station on Monday afternoon after reports of fumes. Peel Region Paramedic Services told Awaz News that they deployed several units to the Mississauga station around 3:30 p.m. at the request of Mississauga Fire and Emergency Services. No patients are being assessed, treated on scene, or transported to hospital at this time, they said. Peel Regional Police PRP, meanwhile, have provided little information about the situation, which they identified as hazmat call. They did not provide any confirmation on the number of patients nor the severity of any possible injuries. Police later said that they don't know what the chemical smell was, but that it is not considered dangerous. Crews are now clearing the scene, they said.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.